Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz and I am back with another emergency card kit. Friends, emergency cards are turning 1 today. We have gone through an entire year of emergency cards. This time last year, I had a tiny little channel. I'd posted, I think, 7 videos. I had 150 subscribers. And over the past year, I've made over 175 videos. We're at almost 3,000 subscribers, and I am just floored and absolutely honored that you have chosen to spend your time with me and to support this work that I do that makes me so happy and brings me so much joy. So let's embark on another year of emergency card kits. If you're new to the channel, an emergency card is one where we make the cards ahead of time, but we leave the sentiment off. That way, when we need a card, we can choose the one that best fits the recipient and the sentiment that best fits the occasion. To help you with this, on the 1st and 15th of every month, I come out with a free printable kit full of sentiments that you can mix and match for any recipient and any occasion. Let's take a look at this kit that kind of exploded on me. I was gonna make just like a kid's birthday sentiment kit, and a bunch of you had great ideas and feedback about that, but I also was like, let me know if that's not useful for you. And there were quite a few people that said that too. So instead, it's like just birthday for everybody. This entire first page is a bunch of font pairings that just say happy birthday. So hopefully when you're making your cards, you'll be able to find one that has the right sort of tone and feel for the card that you're making. You can get it with and without the circle. So that circle is slightly larger than 1 3/4 of an inch. I like to use my EK Success Punch. I'll link to everything I use below, but use what you have. If you don't have circles, that's what this page is for, right? You can cut that out in any size. You could use your trimmer. All of that will work. This next page is kids' birthday sentiments. Have a dynamite birthday. It's party time. It's your special day. You're so cool, birthday boy. Sorry you had to pause your game for this. You guys, I know adults that need some of these sentiments. So hopefully these aren't exclusively child, although some of them are. Happy birthday, make good choices, right? I know so many adults. I could give that one too. Maybe like a whole sheet of that one. Bruh, it's your birthday. And my little boys thought that was hilarious. Way to level up. Wishing you a magical birthday. Have a possum birthday. Happy birthday to a sassy little soul. Happy birthday, sweet girl. Happy birthday, little one. Have a birthday as fantastic as you are. Big birthday vibes to a special little girl. Again, it comes both with and without the circle. There is also a separate download for Australian and British spelling, if that is useful for you. Remember, this kit is completely free for subscribers. Then this page tries to hit all those big birthdays. So we have 1 through 10, right? Huge birthdays. And then some of the other major milestones. The first 8 are look who's turning 1 or 7 or 8, and then a happy birthday. And then we have happy 9th birthday, happy 10th birthday, 16, 21, 30, 40, 50, 60. I'd have gone like 70, 75. I'd have hit some of the other birthdays that are higher up there, but I ran out of room. So let me know in the comments below if you would also like these sentiments for some of our older birthdays. I absolutely can do that. That would not be hard to do. And then also, as we're talking about sentiment requests, if you have ideas for themes coming up in the next couple of months, I'd love to know. If you have ideas for pet related sentiments, I would like to know. I don't have pets anymore. I had cats for a long, long time, but they passed away and we had kids. And so they're kind of my pets now. Anyway, they're great. But if you have ideas for that, if you have ideas for Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day, I would love to know about that. And then I want to put together another favorites kit. We did one in July where I just took all of your most requested sentiments and put them all into one printable to try to save you some paper and some time. I use that one a ton. And now we have strip sentiments that we didn't have at that point. So if you have any favorites from the last year that you're like, I definitely want that one in the kit, please let me know in the comments below. If it's something like this one, and it's a happy birthday, there are so many of them. So if you can be like, hey, this came from kit 22, and I like the one in row 3, that's 3 over. so I can make sure I try to get the ones that you guys want the most. Happy birthday in particular, there's just a lot of them. So that would be really helpful as well. This comes with and without the circles. Then we have strip sentiments. Okay, I took all of like the kids' birthday sentiments and I put them here, and then there are 3 happy birthdays at the bottom. The first page has 2 more whimsical fonts, and then there's a second page where we have a scripty font and a nice serif font. These are the same fonts we've been using. If you're interested in seeing new fonts for those, let me know. And maybe like if there's a particular font that you like, put that in the comments below. I'd love to take a look. I'm a huge font nerd. And then we have our card sketch. If you find this content helpful and you like free printables with sentiments you can put on your cards and card sketches that have all of the measurements, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and I'll show you what we're gonna make. All right, let's make a couple cards. On your template, you will find all the measurements you need to make this card. If you print this out at 100%, that's the default for my printer. This is to scale. This is A2 sized, so it can help you with things like placement. I'm going to try to stick to this sketch today as best I can. You guys know me. I'm really bad at following even my own directions. And then next week, there will be another video where we take the sketch and we try to like shake it up and make something a little bit different, a little bit surprising, okay? So I am actually going to start with the second one here. The large purple rectangle is A2 size. That's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then there's a pink rectangle that goes on top of that that's slightly smaller. It is 4 by 5 1/4. So that I have cut out of this cute Yeti paper, right? I'm not in Christmas anymore, but you guys, it's stinking cold here. So I'm definitely still in winter. And I'm just going to use my wet glue and glue those together. I like wet glue for this because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. I start by trying to make sure that these 3 sides are lined up and have the same margin because my eye is drawn to the top of the card first. Then I have a small purple rectangle that is 3 by 4 1/4 and a smaller pink rectangle here that is 2 3/4 by 4 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and glue these together as well. Then the sketch says to use a strip of cardstock that is 1 1/2 inches by 5 1/2 inches. That's what this would be. And it would very easily just go right down the center of your card and you would layer this on top. But I am going to use my scraps. And I had little scraps of some pink cardstock. All I really need is enough for it to tuck behind. Okay, so there's a note down here that says to use your scraps. These are 1 1/2 inches by 1 inch. If I was using just a regular cardstock, I think I would use the strip. It's faster, but this works too. I am going to use my strip just to get my placement here. So I'm going to put this right down the center of my card. And I'm actually using my grid here to line it up. And then I'm going to glue this right at the top, just above that strip, and I will know that I have it centered. So I'm just kind of butting it up against that, bring it down a touch. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. I'll just line that up so that I know that these are going to be straight. All right. Then I'm going to take this piece and I'm just going to glue it right in the center of my card. And then I have my 2-inch circle that is a mat for my sentiment, and I'm going to glue that down as well. I'm going to use the kids' sentiments for this one, and because I have this cute Yeti paper, I think I'm going to go with "You Are So Cool, Birthday Boy," because right, it's winter. It's cool outside. And I'm just going to take my EK Success Punch and I'm going to wiggle it in there till I can't see that circle anymore. And then I know that it's centered. I like to use a removable adhesive for these so that if I change my mind later, it's really easy to switch up that sentiment. And then I'll use my wet glue and I will add this to a card base. This one's top folding, but it really wouldn't matter. For this sketch, you could go either way. And that finishes up our first card. You can mass produce this super easily. And next I'm going to show you some ways to save on your pattern paper. Okay, friends, for this second card, I'm using a piece of pattern paper where I didn't have a whole lot left. I didn't have enough to make 2 cards. I also knew I definitely wanted these florals to be the focal image here. So what I did was to use some dies. These are the Trinity Stamps Modern Embossed A2 rectangles, but any A2 die set would work for this. Technically, you can do this with like a sliding trimmer as well, or like an X-Acto knife. This is just easier. I like this set in particular. I cut all my pieces out with it because it leaves this little embossed detail around the edges, and I just think that's really elegant. So I took the rectangle that is 4 by 5 1/4 and I cut this piece. Then I took the rectangle that's 2 3/4 by 4 inches and I cut out the middle piece. So I didn't need as much pattern paper, and I can absolutely save on that. I could have tried to do the same thing with my solid colored cardstock, but I really wasn't worried about it. So I'm just going to stick with it this way. I'm going to start by adhering this frame to my larger solid colored cardstock piece. Next, I'm going to adhere these 2 pieces together as well. You know how bad I am at following directions. So once again, instead of just a long 1.5 inch strip of cardstock, I had some scraps that are 1 by 1.5 inches. And then I cut 2 more scraps of some white shimmer cardstock to 1 1/4 by 1 inch. And they're going to go just inside of these purple pieces, right? So the top to bottom, they're the same, but I get that equal margin on the left and right. To add these to my card, I'm actually just going to bring it over to the card sketch. And then if I've printed this out at 100%, it's really easy to see where that should line up on my card so that it's centered. I have a fair bit of dimension happening because of that double layer of cardstock and our frame. And so I am going to pop this piece up with some 1mm foam tape. This is the Big Momma foam roll from Simon Says Stamp. And actually, I bought a new one on Black Friday. I've shown this to you guys before. I've been using this for years. This thing is massive. I can't even fit it on screen. It's over 12 inches across, okay? And it's so thin. It's not going to change the postage on my card, and I love that about it. I like a little lift, but not a ton. So I'm gonna add this to the back of this piece, and I'll be right back. All right, I have added my foam tape, and you can see it's not very thick at all. I am gonna add just a little bit of wet glue to help give me just a touch of wiggle time to get this centered. I didn't take the center strips of foam tape all the way up to the top and bottom so that this would level everything out when I go to add it to my card. For my sentiment, I'm going to use a strip sentiment. This is a 3/8 of an inch mat, and you certainly can do that. But because I'm breaking the rules anyway, I am using my Pretty Pink Posh sentiment strip dies, and I'm using 2 of the smaller ones. I have the scallop and then the stitched rectangle, and then I'm going to pull the die that is just the plain rectangle, and we'll cut it out from our printout that way. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and then here is the strip sentiments, and I think I want one of these scripty ones. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down the middle. I want to leave some of the tick marks on either side. And then I'm going to use a die to cut out just one of those happy birthdays. This is the strip die that coordinates with this size. Okay, so I'm just going to center it on here. I can't see the whole happy birthday. but I've used these a bunch and I know that it will fit. I'm gonna tape that on there and then I'll just run the whole thing through my die cutting machine. All right. So here's my sentiment and it fits beautifully. You certainly could trim that by hand. I will say it leaves a little bit of an indentation from the die sometimes. And so I just use my bone folder and I press it on the back and it's gone, right? You can't tell at all. So now I'm going to stack these pieces together. I'm just going to use my wet glue again because I get that wiggle room. Then I'm going to bring in just a little more of my foam tape, and I always keep my extra pieces on the back, so I'll use those first. So I have removed the release paper and I'm going to add, again, just a touch of wet glue. I want to make sure I get this straight, and I'm going to add it underneath those blooms because they are going to be the focal image on my card. A little wet glue to add this to my card base. And that finishes up card number 2. I would love to know which of these cards is your favorite. They're both just pattern paper and cardstock. The only layered die cuts I did was on that sentiment, and you can totally skip that. This is where I started with emergency card kits a year ago today. And I just thank you once again for spending a year with me making emergency cards. If you are interested in the free printable, all I ask is that you subscribe to my channel. This is a huge kit. Remember, we have a full page of happy birthday and a bunch of different font pairings. Then we have kids' birthday sentiments, followed by those big birthday milestones. And then finally, we have strip sentiments in 4 different fonts and a complete card sketch. Don't forget, there will be another video next week to walk you through ways to step up this sketch. If you have ideas for particular sentiments that you would like to see coming up soon, please put those in the comments below. Any ideas you have for pet sentiments, Valentine's Day and Galentine's Day, or sentiments that you would like to see in the favorites kit, I want to know about it. Absolutely put those in the comments. If you are a subscriber to my channel, go underneath the description box below the video, and at the very bottom, you will find instructions for downloading this kit. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, your year with me, making a bunch of emergency cards. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I have, and I will see you next time.